I wonder why it is that people in the Second Amendment movement, people who are pro-religious liberty, people who are pro-life, how come they're the only people that are actually getting censored? How come you've never seen these crazy left-wing people saying, that are pro-infanticide, pro-this? They've never been deplatformed. They've never been demonetized. They've never even complained about the issue. It's happening to us, but now what's worse is it's actually spread beyond just the social media platforms. People like Google are doing it in Gmail, where they're inboxing, right? So if the Trump campaign sends an email and the Bernie Sanders campaign sends an email, our email ends up in junk mail. Bernie Sanders is right there at the front of your screen.
Hold on a second. If somebody like me or like a leftist went after the Trump organization like they have and said, we want to control the way you do business. You're giving preferential rates to conservatives. You're charging liberals more for their hotel rooms. Wouldn't you say, hey, it's our company. We do whatever the hell we want?
Not exactly true. The reality is, and this was the issue with so many conservatives, where they say, well, it's free market. It's not free market when these tech companies have many protections from liability from the US government. Once they accept those protections and they cede that liability, which could be plenty, and they're getting that benefit from the United States government, they lose the ability to say we can do whatever we want. And that's the argument that's been lost on so many conservatives who are, understandably, well, free market. It's not free market when you're getting protections from the government. You can't then decide, well, I only want to protect this class of people. If you tried doing that in any other business, you'd be destroyed. They've gotten away with it in large part, and this is what we'll talk about probably on the panel today at CPAC, in large part because many conservatives didn't even realize this was an issue with the base. For me, I've spent months traveling all over the country, flyover country, all those places Republicans aren't supposed to be. I actually know people there. This is probably a top 3 issue with the conservative base, but many conservatives didn't actually realize it was a problem.
So wait, so you're saying if they get government benefits, that they can't discriminate, basically?
Yeah, correct.
So you're saying this is like if a university gets Pell Grant money, they can't be preferring one race over another? Are you putting it in that class?
I would say it's very comparable. Someone's going to, oh my God, that's outrageous that you could liken them to the same thing. But when you're talking about the very severe attack on our First Amendment rights, again, only a one-sided attack. It's not like they're censoring all things. They now want to put scales where people in the news are going to rate the truth and efficacy of a statement. Well, who's going to do that? CNN, who has 96% negative coverage of Trump, they're trying to tip the scales. They've done it very effectively.
Are you saying the First Amendment applies to media companies?
I'm saying the First Amendment should apply to everyone, and everyone should have the right to be able to exercise their First Amendment. We're not talking about screaming fire in a crowded theater. We're talking about a different, alternate viewpoint on a subject which is being censored and which is being limited.